Now, I wish with all my heart that we could have been sitting in a lovely hotel somewhere, sipping on cocktails and having this conversation face to face. But we are together and I'm really excited about that. So warm welcome. I'm actually doing a dance because I have all of you ladies in with me. Now, I wanted to start by telling us a little story. Right? Now, when I was 15 or 16, for those who don't know, I studied electronics engineering. So I have a first degree, a Bachelor of Engineering degree in electronics engineering from the University of Reading. Now, when I was 15 or 16 years old, I believe I was 15 and a half, we'd gone off to visit my dad at the Shell camp in Warri in Delta State. So my Warri babes, I've been there. Yeah. So we went off to visit them. And we're taking a walk, myself, my mom, I think my sister, we're taking a walk in the evening and just round the estate and just taking a nice walk. And we walked past one of the female engineers. And she was wearing, how you have the typical stereotypical engineer kind of look, right? She had on like baggy jeans and she had on like a lumberjack shirt and she had on like chunky boots as well. And, we just said, hey, hi. And we kept on walking past and we went round the bend. And I remember my mom turning to look at me. I don't even know if she remembers. I need to remind her. Turning to look at me and she told me, she says, I know you're going to become an engineer. But if I ever see you dressed in clothes like this, your sister and I are going to come, burn your whole wardrobe, and that's going to be it. And she threatened me a little bit more. And it was funny at the time. Well, it seemed a bit funny at the time, but it was the whole idea. And it boils down to something I'm going to tell us in a bit. So all of that happened. And my parents growing up were a little bit finicky. So things like posture, and those who went to secondary school with me know. So things like sitting up straight, my dad was so finicky, you need to sit up straight, have proper posture, all these type of things. They instilled it in us growing up. The kind of games we played, make sure you don't scrape your knees or scrape your legs, all of this stuff. Okay, great. So all of that was going on. And then I went on to the UK. And in 2005, I competed for and won a beauty pageant. I was crowned the first Miss Malika UK 2005. It was an absolutely amazing experience. Ups and downs. Yeah, I will speak about the downs some of the day. That's not for today. But before I was crowned, I had a model trainer. And my model trainer's role was to make sure I understood everything I needed to do to really come out as a proper lady. So he trained me in how to walk, how to talk, how to sit, how to stand. We're trained in little details like removing a jacket without letting the inside of the jacket show. Yeah, how to sit for extended hours and still sit up straight, all of these type of things. And I remember every Sunday, I'd go to this place in South London and we would walk so much in heels and it was beautiful. It was an amazing experience. But after I was crowned queen, there were a different set of responsibilities I now needed to understand. I needed to know how to host a fundraiser, for example. Bear in mind, I was probably about 18 years old at the time. I needed to understand how to host a fundraiser. I needed to know how to speak to people and make them feel instantly at ease. Right? I needed to know how to relate with strangers and carry on conversations with people I'd only met for the first time. I needed to have all these types of conversations. And in came my pageant trainer. So I had a pageant trainer, and that was his role, to make sure I was ready to take on the role of queen, right? And we went through all of that together. And all of this is just to say, I've done courses on etiquette, a course on etiquette and hospitality. I've written a book where I spoke about grooming. I've read a lot, I bought, just a few days ago, actually, I bought a whole new suite of books just around etiquette and grooming and hospitality and all of these type of things. And why are we here? Why do I really think all of this is important? Why are we having this conversation? John Maxwell once said, I'm going to quote what he says. He says, you should never give to the world anything that is less than your absolute best. Never give to the world anything that's less than your best. And that's what being a refined woman is all about. It's about you presenting the very best version of yourself to the world. If you think about, and if you're doing a great job, let me tell you, there are always places you can go to. This is not the utmost you can be. right? There's always more to get to. I'm still learning every single day, and I've been on this journey since I was 16 years old. But I'm still learning, and I'm still growing, and I'm still understanding that there are different aspects to my life. There are different ways to relate with people. There are different ways to communicate. There are depths to business etiquette, and there are depths as to how to host people, okay? But it all starts from this realization that we never want to give the world anything that's less than our absolute best. You and I should never want to show up in a way that's subpar. We talk a lot about personal branding. And one of the things of personal branding is that it needs to be consistent. And for your personal brand to be consistent, consistently consistent means that you need to show up consistently. And I have a show up queen as a coach, and she says it all the time. You need to show up consistently. You don't build a personal brand from showing up periodically in a certain kind of way. So who do you want to become? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be known for? What impression do you want to leave on the hearts and minds of people when you come in contact with them? These are all the things that refined women sort of learn about, okay? So we show up like it, right? We show up about refinement. Now, I'm passionate, really passionate about seeing women upskill, become more elegant, become more refined, because I think, I believe, I know, it's a way for you to become more confident. I've seen women, when they take up some of these things, they now enter into their corporate offices and into their boardrooms, right? And they're showing up better. They're having better conversations. They're presenting better. Yeah, we have masterclasses for all of these things. Presenting better, speaking better, right? They show up in a better way. They're not second guessing their ideas simply because they've stepped into the women that they were created to be, okay? And then what's the second thing about this whole refinement? It's simply this thing of, and if you're in the corporate space, especially if you're like me, who studied something like engineering, or if you studied medicine, or if you studied any course, science course, right, when you're in university, there is, or there was a saying, and you must have heard it occasionally: don't be so soft. Man up, right? Be a bit more masculine. Don't let your emotions cloud the thing. Don't let you hear all these kind of sayings. And while there's some truth to that, in the sense of, yeah, they say that, don't they? Exactly, they say that. But the thing is, when you say things like be more masculine, show up in a way that's a bit more, don't be so soft all the time, right? Don't be so feminine. I'll give you a very personal example. When I was in university, I had a professor. Yeah, he was a French professor, brilliant man. And I remember the first time I sat down in front of him as an undergraduate studying electronics engineering, and he asked me, he said, why are you studying engineering? And I said, oh, because, I probably gave this answer. I want to, change the world with engineering. I want to do all these great things. I want all the stuff I have said. And he says, he was sitting down, his legs were crossed. He had crossed his legs at the knees. And he said, yeah, but why do you want to study engineering? And I'm saying, okay, am I not saying it right? And I wanted to go through it again. And he stops me and he says, I've had smarter people than you sit in this chair. I'm still looking at him. He says, yeah, men have sat in this chair and they flunked out. What makes you think that you are going to make it through? He was protesting the fact that I walked into his office with skinny jeans, thigh-high boots, high-heeled thigh-high boots in the middle of autumn. And in those days, it's not now when we understand makeup. Then our faces were, I had like all sorts of funny eyeshadow and I thought I was the shiznit, right? No, but all of that, that's how I walked in. And for the life of him, he couldn't understand how someone who looked like me, who spoke like me, could have anything between their heads. And the narrative that we hear in a very subtle way, and I'm seeing you in the comment section, thank you. I'm saying, yeah, in medical school, I'm seeing it here. You need to be tough to survive. You need to be masculine to compete with the boys. All of these things, And what they're trying to say is that being feminine isn't good enough. And I'm sorry, I don't buy into that. Actually, I think that's a lie. Because being feminine is not just good enough. Being feminine is more than good enough. We were created to be female. We were created in this very way. And the person that creates us or that created us doesn't make mistakes. So you are more than good enough. That's why we are here. So that's the first thing I want to deconstruct this evening. We're not competing with men on their own terms. Because that's why we fight so much. That's why we fight to be seen and why we fight to be heard and why we fight to show up. Because we've allowed them to set the battlefield. Let's draw them onto our own battlefield. Let's fight like women, because that's what we are. So I love it. Oh, I'm loving what I'm seeing in the comment section. We are good enough. Everyone is, yes, everyone is a gentleman. They say that in law, isn't it? It's awful. There's nothing wrong with being female. And a lot of us subconsciously, we don't even realize that we've taken on this thing of, there's something wrong. Subtly, we say there's something wrong. Subtly, there's something wrong. Nope, there's nothing wrong with us as women. We are good enough. I love it. We're not competing with the guys. I see you guys in the comment section. You're giving me life. Okay, so yes, that's number one. We are not competing with men. As women, we are good enough. We're not good enough. We are better than good enough. We are more than good enough. There's absolutely nothing that's wrong with us. And that's why I wanted to start off today by discussing this thing of femininity, right? But I don't want to just talk about femininity. I want to talk about what we call the masculine and the feminine energies. And let me know in the comment section if you've heard of masculine and feminine energies, if you understand what that is. You're at an interview and the interviewer said you look too soft and you may not be able to carry out your task. Can you imagine? Deborah, can you imagine? I've heard that and all sorts. My first job, I remember, I came as a commercial engineer, and I was talking to one of my line managers, and I was insisting, I want to go out onto the field. I want to do A and I want to do B, and he told me categorically. I was about to imitate his accent, but I'm going to fail now, so I'm not going to do it. But he told me, no, women stay in the office, the men go on the field. And I'm like, are you joking? And you know what? It was so weird for me. Growing up, I didn't understand that there were female things and there were male things. And my parents just never brought us up that way. Yeah, my dad would insist, okay, don't carry this, let someone else carry it for you. But in terms of mental capacity and what we could do, there was no difference. So we're going to change that narrative. I love it. Goodness, we're going to change the narrative. We are more than good enough. We're created perfectly. Fantastic. So we're now going to go into, we're deconstructing. And that's why all of us, we're how many now? We're 164 or so. Yeah, 164 of us. We are going to go out into our own corners of the world and we're going to resist this narrative that has subtly been passed down. Now, a number of us, I'm just seeing the names. I know some of us may not be, but a number of us, just from our names, seem to be of African heritage. Whether you live on the continent of Africa or not is secondary, but some of us, most of us from our names, and I haven't gone through everything, seem to be of African heritage. Now, why is this important? Because on the continent of Africa, we have a very strong patriarchal culture, isn't it? Yeah, we have a culture where the men are sort of okay, and the women are sort of relegated to the background. So as a woman, even though you don't live on the African culture, on the African continent, subconsciously, you have certain things that are encoded in you, that unless you make the effort to go out and change what is happening in your mind, and sort of tweak it a little bit, you're going to still be like, am I really sure? Should I be here? Should I show up here? Should I speak this way? Because there is that. We are not second-class citizens. We're not. We're created equally. The same amount of brains that we have is there. Yeah, we're not second-class citizens. You grow up hearing ladies are meant to be seen and not heard. And I understand, again, the sentiment behind that. But again, I want to break it now and forever, never to rise again. As a woman, you are enough. You were created with everything that you need to make a difference on the continent or in your world. You have something special that our world needs. And I believe this so strongly with all of my heart. I've been speaking to women probably for about 10 or 12 years now. And every time I speak one-on-one with a woman, I see that there is something about her that our world needs. We need you in your fullness of your femininity. We need your strength. We need your emotions. We need your love. We need everything. We need your heart. So please don't harden up yourself. And I'm having a laugh. And this is why, as we grow up, we're going to own schools. We're going to, infect the education sector. We're going to do all of that. Because it's not enough for us to just have these conversations here amongst us. We need to take it broader. We need to take it out. Okay. So we're going to talk about femininity. That's the first thing I really wanted us to speak about. Now, every single person on the face of this earth, whether you were born male or you were born female, you have two energies in you. The first is the masculine energy, and the second is the feminine energy. Each and every creature, each and every human creature, each and every human being on earth has these two energies, the masculine energy and the feminine energy. Now, the masculine energy is primarily your doing energy. You've never heard? Okay, stay with me. It's primarily your doing energy. It's a very linear energy, right? It's an energy that thinks it's uncomplicated. Something needs to get done, it goes ahead and does it, right? It thinks of to-do plans. It's just the energy that does. You want to execute a project, it's your masculine energy that comes up. Anything that involves you doing things, it's you're leaning on your masculine energy. It's a very linear energy. It's the energy that's like, okay, I want to accomplish A, B, C, and D. It has a goal. It's emotionless in that sense, right? And just said, I want to do this. This is what I need to do. It is your masculine energy. And then we have the feminine energy. And your feminine energy is your being energy. Being energy. That is, it's the energy that's just be. It's for you to be. Okay? And it's non-linear and it is complicated. The feminine energy is the one that it's a receptive energy. You receive things to us. Yeah, it's an energy that, so something like, okay, we're going to go through myths of the energies and so that I can point out some things to you. But when you think of your feminine energy, it's the energy that's like, I want to become something. It's your feminine energy that's coming out there. I want to create something. It's your feminine energy that's coming out there. Right? It's not your masculine energy. So it's not an energy that you have to think a bit broader. You have to become, you have to go a bit deeper. It's not linear. It just doesn't go A to B. It goes A, it takes a detour to D, it comes back over again. That's your feminine energy. And for you to function fully as a woman, you need to know when to dial up your feminine energy and when to lean into the masculine energy. You need to understand this very well. And we'll go into it, maybe not today, but we'll go into it in a bit of more detail. Now, what are some of the misconceptions when we think about energies? Now, the first thing is we think that our gender determines the type of energy that we push out to the world, and that's incorrect. So there are a number of women, I'm sure even some of us on this call, and our gender does not, we're female, but we push out our masculine energy. That's the one that comes up the most. Yeah, we are just linear. Everything is linear. Okay, and remember, we need a balance of both energies. If you're a wife and a career woman, for example, I'll give you this one for free. If you're a career woman and you're also a spouse, there is a way or a place to dial up your masculine energy, and there's a place to dial up your feminine energy. All right, so stick with me. So your feminine energy is non-linear energy. And so we said the misconception. The first one is that if you're female, automatically you have more feminine energy. And if you're male, you have more masculine energy. And that's not true. It can go either way. It depends on which one you lean into more. So you see the women on the call that were telling me they're lawyers and they're doctors, and they were being told that, hey, you need to toughen up so you can be like the boys. You need to, everybody here is a gentleman. If we speak to those women and, if we have conversations a bit one-on-one, you would see that the energy that you channel the most is probably your masculine energy, even though you are female, because that's how your environment has conditioned you to be. Okay, so that's the first misconception. The second is that being feminine is weak and will cause you to become a doormat. Again, that is not true. Being feminine in its truest form is accepting that you have power in a different form. All of us are powerful. My power is not brute force. Your power comes in a different form. Remember the phrase, steel in a velvet glove. A woman who truly embodies her femininity is steel in a velvet glove. When they touch you, you seem soft, but on the inside, you are hard. And that's how all of us are. We have power in a different form. We have the gift of influence. Every woman, if you just know how to dial it up, and it stems from our feminine energy. You have the gift of influence. You're able to influence how things go. Okay, so we're powerful in our own way, but just in a different way. And this is why I say we need to change this battlefield we've been playing on. Because when we enter into a battlefield that the men have laid out for us, we're playing according to their terms. And then it brings up all the other things in you that are not authentic to you. So that's why we're saying, let's burn our bras and let's burn our whatever, because you're trying to fight a battle that honestly, you were never meant to be on the field for. But we'll leave that conversation. We'll have it a bit later. The third thing is that we think that when you dress in a feminine way, automatically you're feminine, and that's not true. It's not by wearing dresses that makes you more feminine. Remember, femininity starts from within. Everything about who you are starts from within. Think about those women, and I'm sure some of us know those women. They walk into a room and immediately you're captivated. You turn to look at them like, there's just something about this lady. There's a way she talks, there's a way she moves her body, there's a way she comes across, there's just an aura that this lady has. And you're trying to think, what is it about this woman? It's because she's connected to something on the inside of her. And that's her feminine energy. She's channeling from that place of being. She stepped into who it is that she really is. And that's where it is that she's operating from. A dress doesn't just do that. You have to change your mindset first. And then you have to change your heart. And you have to change your outlook as to how you look out on the world before you now go. Okay, so that's the third misconception. The fourth misconception is that nurturing is a feminine energy. Sisters, it is not. I know we carry children and we bring new life to the earth, but primarily the skill of nurturing is not a feminine energy. It's actually a masculine energy. Do you see why I say it has nothing to do with what we're traditionally told? Okay, because the thing of providing and doing and going out, all those type of things are all masculine energy. So when you stand in that form of, taking care of a child, taking care of the home, all of this type of things, that you're leaning to your masculine energy. And I just wanted to say, while women, we are well okay to provide, and we're in 21st century, we all work, I work very hard, if I do say so myself, like a number of us on this call, we all work, we provide, we do all these things. Where there is tension is where, for a prolonged period of time, a woman is forced by circumstance or otherwise to provide. Why? Because you're now leaning too much into your masculine energy to the detriment of your feminine energy. And it's sort of, you're not wired to be that way. And so there's a bit of tension on the inside of you, which is what sometimes spills out in frustration and all these other type of things. So we realign ourselves, okay? So, and then we now say to be feminine, all you need is feminine energy. Again, that's incorrect. We need a balance of both. Now, how do we become more feminine? There are a few things. First of all, we need to heal ourselves, because a number of us have been told being feminine is not good. Being feminine is negative. Being feminine, if you're feminine, you're this. If you're feminine, you know, you won't get what you want in the world, all this type of stuff. We first need to reconnect on the inside with the women that we're created to be. Whatever you need to do to acknowledge, you know, some people, what I usually say is write a letter to the little you. Write a letter to the 10-year-old girl or to the 8-year-old girl. Go back in your mind. When did you start looking at being female as a bit of a disadvantage? Do you look at it as being a bit of a disadvantage? What exists on the inside, on your mindset? When you see a feminine woman, what's the first thing that crosses your mind? These are some things you just think about in your own quiet time. And if there's anything other than admiration and love and positivity, if there's any negativity there, I'll encourage you to write a letter. Do trace back. Where did I first start losing it? Where did I first start looking at femininity as anything other than a blessing? So trace that back, trace it all the way back, and then write a letter to yourself, right? I know sometimes we think baby girl, and we don't think baby girl in a flattering way, but just like, let me tell you guys, let me tell you honestly, a few days ago, someone sent me a message on Instagram. So I've been posting something, and I don't know what particular thing I posted up, right? And it's a he. He sent me a message on Instagram, a private message. And he was like, no offense, of which I've already taken offense. Because, you know, when someone says no offense, really, what they're saying is offensive. And it says, no offense, I would never have thought that someone, you know, you would be saying these type of things. I think, I remember what it was. He saw a video of mine on YouTube where I was speaking about vision. And he says, you know, I would never have thought that someone like you know, would come out and speak about vision in such a deep way, because the way you look doesn't. And I'm thinking, are you joking? It's not just bad enough that you're thinking it. You had the effrontery to come into my DM and spew this nonsense. You know, it's amazing. But you know what? We all have it. And even us sometimes as women, we sometimes have it. Very rude. And he says, and we all have these things. So sometimes we see women, and instead of us to be like, what a powerful woman. Oh, I'm so proud of her. She's doing great things. What else that comes to our mind is, why is she even feeling so whatever? You know, this one, look how she has painted her face. Does she even know anything? What is she even wearing? We have all these negative things that automatically just come on the inside of us because we need to heal our feminine. Okay, we need to heal. Your own is too much. All these type of things. We need to heal our feminine, right? So if you have any of these things that sort of come to your mind occasionally, let's go all the way back and retrace. Retrace. And I blame Hollywood a little because they did, you know, like Legally Blonde, and they made her, and I love that movie, but let's blame Hollywood. There's a narrative, okay? So we need people that are going into media as well to change the narrative of the kind of women that are showing up. But I'm just going to drop that one there, by the way. Okay, so we have all of that. Now, the second thing is I want you to discover and explore your authentic self. Who were you before the world told you who you were meant to be? What did you used to dream about when you were 6, when you were 7, when you were 8? What were the things that used to take over your heart and over your mind? What were you excited about in those days, in those early days, right? Discover your authentic self. Go all the way back and begin to ask yourself, who am I on the inside? Who do I want to be? What rules do I listen to? These are, you know, and sometimes, a lot of the time when we have these sessions, people think I'm going to come and tell you a 5-point agenda of what you can do to instantly become more feminine. It doesn't work like that. You see, femininity is an energy that flows. And if you don't fix what's on the inside, there's always something that's going to be off externally. So I can tell you how to dress, how to talk, how to walk, how to sit, how to stand, and I do all of that. But we also need to do the internal work to make sure that what's on the outside is authentic to who we are on the inside. And that's why we see some people that something just seems a bit off about them. They're talking right, they're saying all the right things, they're doing all the right things, they're showing up in what seems like the right way, but there's something about them that just seems a bit off. It's because the internal, what's on their heart and on their mind, does not correlate with what they truly with what's on the external. Okay, so we're going to do that work. Discover your authentic self. That's the second thing. Then the third one is let go of anything that is overtly masculine that is not true to who it is that you are. So I once had a one-on-one client, and she was a group client, but we had a one-on-one coaching session. And she told me how, when she comes into the office, she's like one of the guys. I'm like, what does that mean? Break it down for me. And so she enters the office and she says like, guys, what's going on? And she sits, like on the table sort of. And I'm like, but why? She says, that's because what all the other guys are doing. I said, but you're not a guy. You're a lady. You're a woman. So why would you do what all the other guys are doing? Yeah. So all these other type of behaviors that you just see you're doing that come as a part of you, you just show up that way. But they're sort of like masculine type of behavior. Ask yourself, is this something I can do without? Most of the time, the answer is yes. We're going to speak about communication in a second, and I'll talk about the sentence I just wanted to say there. But really, discover the authentic masculine behavior that you've sort of taken on. So my lawyers in the house, my doctors in the house, my engineers in the house, what are those things that you've done to fit into the environments that it is that you are? Now, and I understand, and my heart goes out to these women, especially women in STEM, right? Because I have sort of worked in industries where I am one of only few females. And a number of times I have to check myself before I really stepped into who I was. And remember, this process of becoming is something you will keep on going on almost all through your life. So I just thought, hey, maybe I need to behave a certain way and show up a certain way and do certain things just to show that I'm capable. But no, I am capable. And you are capable. Okay, cool. And the fourth thing I want you to do, or the fifth thing, is to cultivate inner values. We're going to cultivate inner values. Values such as gratitude. Yeah, values such as kindness. All of these things on the inside of us, these are predominantly feminine energy values. Okay, so we'll cultivate it. How do you cultivate gratitude? If you don't keep a gratitude journal, yeah, maybe now it's time to start. And every day, just find 2 or 3 things that you're really grateful about and write them down. Today, I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful that you're here, that you joined me, that we're having this conversation. I'm grateful for this dress I'm wearing, which is a gift from a beloved friend and sister. Yeah, I'm grateful for a member of my team that's here, my admin, because she's such a blessing to me. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for the air I breathe. I'm grateful. I'm just grateful for beauty. I'm grateful for so many things. And the more you are grateful and you cultivate that habit and attribute of gratitude, you're leaning more into your feminine energy. And the kinder you are, I love it, you're grateful for life, isn't it? The kinder you are as well, it's also a giving energy as well, right? It's something that flows out from you. So you just become more feminine, okay? So that's it. And then learn to receive. Remember, your feminine energy is primarily a being energy. And I was having a conversation. I'm not gonna out her in terms of saying her name, but she's gonna know it's her I'm speaking about because she's on this call. The other day, we're having a conversation and we're introducing ourselves. And I was saying how, I love the spa and I love receiving gifts and I love all these things. And she was saying how she's just not that person. She is more a gift giver. That as we're talking, she was just thinking, oh, how can I give, this person a gift, and how can I give that person a gift? But really leaning into your feminine energy, learning how to receive compliments, favors, learning how to receive kindness, learning how to receive love. Oh, thank you, Marie Therese. I'm grateful for you too. Yeah, you have to learn to receive. Being receptive is leaning into your feminine energy, and honestly, it changes the game. If someone compliments you on doing something, and I think I sent a message about this, someone compliments you on doing something, don't brush it off. Don't be like, it's not a problem, Jerry. Don't worry about it. No, you're deflecting. Let it be okay for you to say thank you. Because it was a bother. You being brilliant was a bother. If you do something at work and you are complimented for it, don't say, oh, it wasn't that hard. No, it wasn't that hard for you because you put in the energy, the time, the effort to become great at that thing. So it's hard. You're just brilliant at it. So say thank you. Receive it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I used to be that as well. You tell me something, I'm like, it's not that, it's not a problem. No, it's a problem because I could be doing something else. I could be sleeping, I could be eating, I could be staying into space, but I did that thing for you. So let's learn to receive compliments. Let's learn to receive kindness. If someone gives you a gift, don't be like, why now? Why did you bother? I know you should be bothered. You should bother because I'm worthy of receiving gifts. I'm worthy of being shown kindness. I'm worthy of being loved. I'm worthy of being. Yeah. And that's the other thing we should think about. Yeah. And the final thing I'll say is on this, or maybe not, I'll say a few more things, is to develop our intuition. You know, there's something women have that I think is such a blessing, and this is intuition. Ladies, look, listen. Look, listen. I said it twice so I can get your attention. Do not underestimate your intuition. Don't ignore it. Don't throw it out the window. Don't be like, I've come again with my, no. There's something powerful about your intuition. And your feminine energy is linked to your intuition. So lean into it. Learn to listen to yourself. Did you hear me? Learn to listen to yourself. Learn to listen to your body. Learn to listen to your mind. Learn to listen to your heart. Learn to listen to you. Some of us push ourselves so hard. We don't hear when our body is saying, calm down. Yeah, your intuition has proven to be true more times than not. Exactly, Shakira. That's it. So learn to listen to what it is they're saying on the inside. We have intuition. And then, of course, learn to relax. This is how you develop and build your feminine energy. Relax your mind, relax your body. Learn to relax. What are some of the ways you relax? What are those things? Me, I'm a spa girl. I have a spa voucher that is going to be used next week. And I'm just going to treat myself. I think the treatment is called Queen Royalty of a Queen or Queen of a Royalty, something. It was a lovely gift. But yeah, learn to relax. And maybe you're not a spa person, and that's fine. But you need to learn. I should take you with me. You're welcome to come. It's Pamper Queen, yes. But learn to relax. You shouldn't always be going. And this is why you're also leaning. That's feminine energy. Remember, your masculine energy is your doing energy. Your feminine energy is your being energy. So what does that look like for you? Let me tell you a simple trick every day, even to just lean into your feminine energy. How do you put lotion on your body? How do you moisturize? How do you moisturize? Some people, when they're moisturizing, I'm like, are you fighting? You know, they're just like, and what's the problem? Are you at war? What is it? But when you're putting lotion on yourself, even the way you stroke your body, right? As you're applying the lotion in, that's a way of pampering and soothing yourself. So take your time. Put lotion everywhere. Moisturize everywhere. I'm sorry. Moisturize everywhere. Take extra time on places like your elbows. Go in between your knuckles, right? Spend time moisturize. Give yourself a mini massage as you're doing it. It's a way for you to pamper yourself every single day. And it will take you no more than an extra 3 minutes or extra 5 minutes if you're slow. Right? You moisturize your ankles, moisturize your feet. That's a way just of you telling your body, I see you, I love you, you're loved. You're loved. Someone is muted, I think. Okay. Yeah? So all of that, moisturize. Learn to cherish yourself. Learn to cherish yourself. You're not that patient. You learn it. All these things we're saying, it's not something that you're just going to get up tomorrow and everything's going to fall into place. No, you learn. You got time, girl. You learn. It's something that you're going to learn. And why are we saying all these things? When you connect more authentically to the woman you are on the inside, you show up more powerfully to the world. Time and time again, we've seen it. Look at the most powerful, authentically powerful, yet authentically most feminine women. It's because there's a connection. You're not like, oh, they're not trying too hard. They just come across powerfully. Let me tell you, in some rooms, I don't raise the tone of my voice. The table has to go quiet so that they hear what it is I'm saying. It's a deliberate skill that you learn. And it didn't just start yesterday because I can scream like a banshee. When my driver tests me, honestly, I'm still trying to learn how to channel my feminine energy in that space. We're getting there. We're getting there, right? But yeah, just learn, modulate, practice. I spent time practicing in the mirror, all these type of things. I do it. I know people say, oh, no, do it. My pageant trainer got tired of me after a while because perfect ladies, when you smile, your eyes shouldn't wrinkle. I told him, I said, look, my eyes wrinkle. And I'm not going to stop them from wrinkling just because I want to have a perfect, whatever, model-like type of smile. No. And this is why we're saying authenticity. Be authentic to who it is that you are. Okay? Yeah, so that's what it is. We're going to say that. Okay, cool. And then the other thing I'll say is become playful. When last did you play? Some of us are so serious. When you play, you connect with your feminine energy. You connect with your femininity. It brings out a different side of you. I play with my niece a lot. She keeps me young and youthful. My sister and I play. Like sometimes we call and we're doing role play on the phone and it's just fun. Yeah, sometimes we're sitting down, both of us are working, and then there's this game we've been playing since we were kids, and it's called My Friend, and I can't explain it to you. It's just how the game goes, right? And I'm like, my friend, how now? We're just random. And she answers when we go off on this random tangent where we dream dreams, do this my friend thing. We're just playing. But it brings out a different side to you. So don't be so hard all the time. Don't be so serious all the time. You're always frowning. When we see you, boss lady has entered into the room. Power woman has entered into the room. Look at her. What a wow. Don't comment. No. Life is not that serious. Life is not that serious. Just relax. Remember, your feminine energy is an energy of being. It's who it is that you are on the inside. So connect to that person. Slow down. That thing you want to do, just slow down. Slow down a bit more. Just a bit more. Okay. Yeah? Slow down. They're walking fast. Okay, slow down. And I do this so deliberately. I'm not going to speed up to walk at your pace. No, I'm wearing heels. Slow down. It doesn't mean I'm slow. Just slow down. You can do this. I know you can. Slow down. And I'm not talking about execution at your work. I'm talking about you and how you do certain things. Some of you that say you don't have time, wake up 5 minutes earlier or 10 minutes earlier to do this thing I'm saying. You'll thank me, okay? And then connect with nature. Nature is, when we say mother nature, we don't say father nature, isn't it? Because nature primarily just exudes feminine energy. Nature is being. Nature is just is. Nature isn't struggling with you. She's not trying to prove a point. The air isn't trying to prove a point like, hey, I'm air, and you have to breathe. No, air just is air. Water is just water, right? You are in love with nature. I love that Cynthia. So yes, connect with nature. If you don't know where to start, just have a little potted plant. You can have a potted plant, and you can just have it on your desk. It just brings in that energy to you, right? It brings that energy to you. So we're going to connect with nature, okay? Slow down and be more careful. Yeah, table shattered, walking fast. Look, listen, there are sometimes we're going to run. Let me tell you a story. In 2000, and I think it was 2010 or so, I was coming down Adeola Deku in Victoria Island in Lagos, right in the heart of Lagos. I was in the car with my sister, and we had a driver that was driving us. And as we're coming down, for some reason, we saw there were people around, but when you notice things are off a little, okay? Okay, I'm coming to your question. Ilapani, please just keep notes of the questions for me so that you can let me know. So, we're coming down the road, and then we noticed I saw a policeman taking off his jumper, and I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And next thing, we had gunshots. Apparently, they were robbing one of the banks at the end of the road. I think it was 2010. So normal, typical me, I'm in the car with my heels. Ladies, I tell you what, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not joking. I flew out of the car in my 6-inch heels. And I ran, for those who are familiar with Lagos, from towards the end of Adiola Odeku till Bar Beach. I did not stop. I ran all the way in my 6-inch heels. So there's a time to run and there's a time to be calm. But that's not our everyday lives, is it? I did the whole journey. I ran it. And that day I knew that I had not lost the athletic part of me. So we made it there. Okay, so let's quickly move. And then just feel your feelings. Acknowledge your feelings. You know, a lot of us, we push down our feelings. But like, I'm strong. I can get through it. I can do it anyway. Yeah, it hurts, but it doesn't really matter. No, it matters. If it hurts you, it does matter. If it made you feel sad, it does matter. If it made you feel joyful, it does matter. If it made you feel betrayed, it does matter. Stop and acknowledge those feelings. Acknowledge them. What are you feeling? Joy? Sorrow? Anxiety? Feel your feelings. Really feel them, step into them, connect with your feelings, then decide what to do with your feelings. But don't ignore them, okay? Feel your feelings. I'm glad you need to hear it. And then I'll say spend some time creating, and you can create anything, yeah? You can write a poem if you're into that sort of thing. You can have spoken word. You can have, you can, if you know how to draw and paint, I'm hopeless. But if you know how to draw and paint, do that. All of these type of things help you connect to your femininity, okay? And I was saying earlier that if you write a book, exactly as said, you can write a book. Oh, just spend some time creating, schedule time to create something. Okay, so connect with your feelings and then schedule time to create something. Now, the other thing I'll say about femininity before we move on, a few other things I'll say is, if you're married, yeah, if you're married, and let me see, do we have married ladies in the house or are we all unmarried? Let me know if you're married so that I would know. I would know if I'm married or not. But I was saying earlier that there's a place for feminine energy and there's a place for masculine energy. Yes, you're married, fantastic. Fantastic. Single, don't worry, singles, I got you. You're married, awesome. Okay, now, okay, comfort, I see you too. So if you're married in the house, there's a place for your masculine energy to come forth. Let's assume you lead a company. Let's say you lead a Fortune 500 company, okay? So you're going to be standing in the place of a leader in your organization. You're probably going to be leaning partially into your masculine energy a little bit more. But when you get into your home, you should lean into your feminine energy more. Why? Because men primarily, some men, most men, not all men, but some men have their masculine energy stronger. Yeah? And then if we have our feminine energy, we're able to attract them. Listen, women, you can't be predictable all the time. Whether you're married, whether you're dating, I'm just giving you this one for free. You can't be predictable all the time. He shouldn't know what he's meeting, who he's meeting when he comes home. It should always be you with spaghetti top and bomb shots and whatever. Don't be predictable. And the feminine energy is sort of mysterious as well, because there are depths to it. There are wells to it. And how do you transition? If you're coming back home from work, before you walk into your home, take a few minutes outside. If you drove, just sit in the car and take a few minutes in the car and just breathe. Just breathe and let go of your masculine energy and embrace your feminine energy. Remember, your feminine energy is a receptive energy. So you want to go in and be receptive. You want to go in flowing, like I'm ready for you. Okay, we're not going into marriage. I know there are some people here that are trying. We're not entering there tonight. We have a special masterclass. But yeah, transition from your masculine energy to your feminine energy. You transition first in your mind, and then you transition in your heart before you walk into your home. And if you're dating, the same thing. Listen, I know we live in a world that is very, equal, we can do everything. I know. But if you're going on a first date, on a second date, don't go Dutch. I said it and I said it. I don't care. If you are, I don't know, earning more than he is, lean into your feminine energy and receive. Allow yourself to be pursued in that sense. Yeah? Then don't always be available. Don't always be calling, oh, we had a really good time in that day. When are we going to see again? Today's not good for you? How's tomorrow? Okay, what if next tomorrow? Wow, I'm really missing you. Calm down. Let yourself be pursued. Because the feminine energy is you draw in. Go and look at female animals in nature. They draw in, they understand how to do these things. Okay? This new world, I'm not in it with you. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. This new world, I'm not there. I like it, but they be calming down. Like relax yourself and receive. Okay, we're moving quickly. So I've said that. Now, yeah, so show your feminine energy, slow down and all of that. Now, remember, the woman sets the tone for every relationship. Not just dating, not just marriage. Every single relationship, you set the tone. You're more powerful than you think you are. Okay, you set the tone. So lead from where you are strongest. Lead from where you're strongest. I want you to really lean into that and lead from where you're strongest. Listen, we're not here to change anybody. I don't want you to become me or to become, the queen. I don't want you to do all that. But I want you to become a more empowered, more authentic, more refined, more elegant version of yourself. Okay, so be uniquely different. We're equal, but we're different in unique ways. So lean into the uniqueness of you. All right. So reevaluate your current relationship dynamics. I'm just giving you tips for those who are in relationships or if you're in a marriage. Reevaluate the dynamics of your relationship or of your marriage. Who shows up more in a masculine energy part? Who shows up more in your feminine energy? Right? Reevaluate the dynamics. Are you always the one doing? The light bulb is broken. It's you that will climb the ladder to go and fix it. The tire of the car has spoiled. It's you that will bring out the jack to go and change the flat tire. I don't know what. Are you always the one? The washing machine is not working. You are the one that will go out to look for the technician that will come to repair the washing machine. All right. Okay, so we're going to reevaluate our relationships. That's the first thing. The second thing is we're going to communicate our desires with compassion. I know you're a fixer, my dear, but allow the other person fix. Allow the other person fix a little, okay? So communicate your desires with compassion. Communicate what it is you want without nagging, without going on and on about it. Communicate what you want in the tone that you want it to be heard, with compassion and with love. But say what your desires are. If the husband man is not a handy man, oh my gosh, you guys are killing me in the comment section. Oh goodness. Okay. Yeah, and then obviously you provide emotional support. We're there for that, but you're not his mother. You're not his mother. What did I say? Let me know you heard what I said. Did you hear what I said? What did I say? What did I say? You're not his mommy. You're not his mother. Exactly. You're not his mom. So you provide emotional support. You are there for him, but you are not his mother. You're not his mom. You're not. He has a mom. You're not his mom. And there's a song that just coming to my mind, but my voice is a good speaking voice. It's not a singing voice. You're not his mom. So you're not going to cuddle him. Right? You're not going to cuddle him. You express what it is you want because you're both two mutual consenting adults. And the same way you go and you meet his needs, sometimes you also need to communicate that your needs also need to be met. So you will do it with compassion and you'll do it with a lot of love, but you will communicate what you need. You communicate what you desire. Communicate how you want to be loved. Communicate what makes you feel sensual. You can't have been cooking, change gas cylinder, do everything. He now wants a little vixen. No, now. How do you even make that? Someone is dragging me into marriage. Who's that person? I said I'm not going to go there this evening, but you guys get my drift. Okay, so that's femininity that we're going to do. How we're going to go. So we're going to keep our sense of mystery. Now, in the workplace, you're the one dragging me. I guess I was like, there's an energy. Someone is dragging me into this. No. Maybe we'll do another one on that. Okay, we're gonna. Now, in the workplace, how does your feminine energy play across? Right, you're a career person, you're in business. How does it help? First of all, you're communicative, so learn to be more expressive. Don't bottle things. And I'm speaking to myself as I'm saying this honestly. And I know some of my friends are in here and they're like, really? Would I be saying be communicative? Really? Well, I said, we're learning, we're all on this journey together. All right? Oh, fantastic. You are welcome. You're welcome. I should do another one for the married folks. Let's see. So, you'll be communicative. You express what you want. You express what you mean, right? Express exactly what it is that you mean, exactly what it is that you want. Learn to be a bit flexible and a bit more patient, but at the same time, be exacting in your standards, all right? So research has shown, I believe was it Stanford or one of these research showed that of the most important traits that are found in top leaders across the world, 3 of them happen to be from your feminine energy. And these are the 3 I've said: flexibility, patience, and communication. So hone those skills. Those are feminine energy skills, okay? Evaluate your work culture. Now, in terms of how you show up in your office, and I'm going to move on to communication now, but in terms of how you show up in your office, the first thing I'll say is dress the part. Dress the part. Listen, when we speak about femininity a lot of the time, people think that it's by the amount of body that you show. I'm really feminine. Look at my cleavage, my décolletage is on the, whatever, my legs are whatever, my this is whatever. No, the 3 traits I said: communication, flexibility, and patience. Communication, flexibility, and patience. Okay. So when I say dress the part and show up in, and these are now the external things you're doing, you're showing up in your feminine ways, is not by the amount of skin that you show. It's not by the amount of thigh that you show. Should I speak about this thigh slit craze I'm seeing going on? Should I speak about that? Should I go there or not this evening? I should go there. I should go there. Listen, ladies. Oh gosh. There was a study I read once about what a man sees and how, I know we've heard it all before. Men are visual, women are not as visual. Some women are very visual, but not every woman is as visual. So I read a study probably about 6 or 7 years ago about how visual a man is. Okay. Now, when a man sees, and honestly, I thought, this is not even, how is this my concern? But it's our concern. Okay. When a man sees thighs, let's say you have a little slit here, and the slit maybe stops just here above your knee, okay? Or maybe your neck is down and it just stops here, just there. It's very okay. The way a man's visualization, for most men, if they have not learned how to control themselves deliberately, they've not learned discipline and determination and all these other skills that men should have. If they've not learned that, the way the mind subconsciously works is it traces that line all the way down. So you have a slit that ends above your knee. In the man's mind eye, it doesn't end at the knee. It goes all the way up. Yeah. Now let me tell you what that means for you. You want to be taken as a serious professional in your organization. You want to be taken as a serious business professional. You want to be taken as someone to be reckoned with. Prove your worth with the words that come out of your mouth and not necessarily with what it is that you're showing on the skin. You need to be so confident and secure in the woman that you are that you don't have anything to prove. And, just because I'm saying it, I'm going to say it anyway. So now let me post a little. If there's one thing my mama gave me, she gave me legs. My sister and my legs are absolutely phenomenal. We have fantastic legs. Sometimes when my dad wants to praise me, he's like, this girl, you guys, your legs are beautiful. They're not as fine as your mom's yet, but you have beautiful legs. He says that we have lovely legs. And some years ago, I tell you, the size of my skirts were probably, maybe they were not bigger than this cue card. Yeah, this was the length of my skirt, the end. So I understand, I've been there, I get it. But as I grew in knowledge of who it is that I am and what it is that I have to offer this world, the places I want to go, the rooms I want to step into, my body is the least of what I have to offer. And I'm a very attractive woman. And I say that with all sense of, it's not even humility, it's just what it is, right? I am just who I am. You don't need to see what I have under my clothes for me to prove you. Engage me in conversation. Is a 20-minute, actually 20 minutes is too long. 10 minutes will convince you that I have something. Ladies, when you show excessive amounts of flesh, what you are subtly communicating is that I don't have too much to offer, so let me distract you a little bit first. I've sat in boardrooms, I've sat in meetings. I've been in corporate space about 14 years now or so. And usually this rings true. And there's some people who just don't know. And that's why I'm saying this in love. I said I was going to work speaking as sisters this evening. But speaking as sisters this evening, and I'm just talking to you in love. You have more to offer than your body. Your body is the least, no matter how attractive. If you have the perfect hourglass figure and you're like, I don't know who, you have so much more to offer. So you will drape yourself in a way that is stylish and elegant. Listen, I'm not for dowdy. I will never preach dowdy. I don't look dowdy. I don't dress dowdy. I've never dressed dowdy. Yeah, or in a way that's just funny. Every room I enter, I turn heads and I say it boldly. I do. But I turn heads because I carry an aura around me. I was in the airport once and I met a man. Men just is really sweet. I met a guy. He was a doctor, quite accomplished. And he walks up to me and he's like, "Where are you going?" And I told him where I was flying to. And he says, "From the minute you walked through the door, I was on the phone," and some of it was, like normal guy, what guys say. But my point is, I was covered because I was traveling. When I travel, I was wearing, I was covered literally from my neck all the way down to my ankles. Yeah, is what it is. But you need to have an aura about you. Let there be more to you. Let people meet you and they're not saying, she dressed nice and that was it. Let there be more to you. I'm not going to talk about this again. Yeah, these women, oh my gosh. Okay, gas me up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's a period. Yes, it is. But no, on a more serious note, guys, I'm just saying, the more you expose of yourself, you are subtly, it's a very subtle message that you don't even realize what's being passed across. But you're passing across a message that says, I don't have too much. So let me distract you a little so that you don't listen too much to what comes out of my mouth. So after today, we will dress up appropriately. We'll show up in the right places appropriately, and we will leave people with the right remembrance of us, okay? And then we've spoken about all of this, okay? And then we'll support other women. Can we support other women? The shade, it's not shade. Yeah, let there be more to you. So we also commit to supporting other women. And this is another way we lean into our femininity. We support other women. We lean into them. We help them. Solichi, I'm not throwing shade, you people. I'm not throwing shade. Which shade? We're having a conversation and it's from love. So you will take it from my heart of love, right? All right, great. So let me know, are you still with me? Give it to me in the comment section. Are you still with me? But I want to talk a bit about communication now. Are you still with me? You are. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, awesome. You are. Great, great. Okay, cool. Oh, such a joy. I'm having a great time. I do hope you're having a great time. You pledged to dress appropriately from today. I'm excited. I'm excited. When you dress, yeah, okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so great. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I didn't finish the doctor's gist. The doctor's gist didn't end anywhere, my dear. It's ended where it ended. I was telling someone, and if you give me enough encouragement in the comment section, maybe I'll prioritize it for Q1. I was telling someone that I'm going to write a book, and the book is going to be called All the Frogs I Ever Kissed. And I'm going to talk about all the relationships I've had and all the things that I learned from the different relationships and all the peculiar things I've seen. Because girls, I've seen some things. So if you encourage me enough, maybe, just maybe, we might bring it out Q1 of 2022. Q1 goals, right? Oh my, yeah. If I see you releasing a book with that name, I will sue you. I'm trademarking the name today. All the Frogs I Ever Kissed by Bodam Taiwo. Watch out. Before that. Oh my God, I should write it? Okay, let's see. Let's see how it goes. All right, cool. So let's move on to culture. Such boldness. No, I'm going to be respectful. I won't mention anyone's names or anything of the sort. I mean, we're still ladies at the end of the day, isn't it? But I also think that I've dated a wide variety of men. I really have. And I've learned different things about the different types of men that I've dated. First of all the men I've dated were all successful. Men that are not really successful, we don't really have much in common. So right from when I was 16 let me not tell you my age when I had my first boyfriend. Well, those years anyway. Yeah, thank you. You're waiting. You're waiting for the one that will turn to Prince Charming. Let your knees be black and then let's pray a bit harder, isn't it? Okay. Fantastic. So let's move on to cultured communication. Cultured communication. Now, we've been speaking a lot about, we're talking about femininity earlier on. We're talking about leaning more into your feminine energy, becoming more womanly and all of that. Now, I want us to talk about cultured communication as a continuation of that. Okay, we all have a personal brand. All of us. You guys are twisting in the comment section and I'm loving it. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we all have a personal brand. All of us. Every single one of us has a personal brand, whether we are consciously aware of it or not, whether you are consciously working on it or not, you have a personal brand, okay? And your personal brand are not the pictures, it's not the photo shoot that you did and you posted on Instagram. That's not your personal brand. Your personal brand is what comes to mind when people think about you. It's what comes to mind when people hear your name. It's how people introduce you to the other person. We all have this thing. Have you met Bodam? She is A, B, C, D, E. Or do you know Bodam, that one that does this, right? That's your personal brand that's speaking. And if you're not deliberate about building your personal brand, other people will build it for you. And you don't want that. Excuse me. So you need to be known for your personal brand. And one of the ways to build and solidify your personal brand is this thing of cultured communication. How do you speak? And cultured communication, we know, is not just written, it's not just oral communication, it's also written communication. In this day and age, we have social media, we have Twitter. Well, if you're in Nigeria, you don't have Twitter yet, you're going to get it back, but it's not there yet. Take from that what you will. And if you have it, then I don't know. Anyway, so we used to have Twitter in Nigeria, but the rest of the world has Twitter. So my South African sisters and my Dubai sisters, we have Twitter, right? We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Clubhouse, we have, what else do we have? We have all these things, yes? We have WhatsApp, we have Telegram, we have text messaging. These are all forms of communication. And my question to you is, how do you communicate across each of these channels? I have a personal policy. It's because of the type of woman that I want to be known. I don't use abbreviations. So these things that people do. Common one is HBD, GBU, and I'm thinking, what are you typing? And that is happy birthday, God bless you. And, sometimes they do LLMP. If you message me with that kind of thing, I won't even acknowledge it. Stop it. Don't let my inner self not come out. Don't do it. You have a brand. Don't interpret it. It should be outlawed. Stop. You have a brand. Yeah? And your brand is how you come across. How do you speak? What kind of words do you use? I know some people who use swear words a lot. They curse out a lot. Any small thing, there's random words going in there. And I'm thinking, what are you trying to communicate? Who are you trying to be known for? What are you trying to be known for? Don't do it. And let me not say don't do it. That's not what I'm trying to say. You can do it. You have free will. I'm not here to tell you what not to do and what to do. I'm just here to give you guidelines and to help you understand the consequences behind what you do and what you don't do. So you can do it. But bear in mind that you are building a persona for yourself. I want to be known as a refined lady. I'm the etiquette queen. So I'm not going to come out here and be using certain types of words. Even when I speak to, partners that work with me, there's some insults that I will say. Not that I've never said them before, but I'm trying very hard not to say again. Because I'm like, this doesn't resonate with the personal brand that I'm trying to build. How do you write emails? Some of you, someone comes into your DM on Instagram, and I had a similar experience today, and I've not responded because I don't want to be rude. A person is like, hello, dearie. I'm like, who are you? Where did you come from? Who knows you? Why are you? Who are you? Communication, the beauty of communication is you want to pass across a message. The accent went away, Balade, because it's annoyance. My inner Nigerian girl came out, like, what? But when you communicate, you're passing across a message. You're passing across a very strong message that you're communicating the essence of who you are. That's what communication is. You're passing across the essence of who it is that you are. So what is important to you? Communication is great in helping you build the appropriate boundaries. It's great in helping you pass across and communicate respect. So it starts off with how do you greet people? And whether you are older or you are younger or whatever it is, there's certain people you see. For example, people who are significantly older than you, add a salutation to their name. It just speaks to the fact that you're a bit cultured. Add a salutation. Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, they can now invite you to call them on a first name basis, and then you can decide whether or not you want to do that. But don't be presumptuous in your communication. Don't be presumptuous. Words like dear, darling, sweetheart are for people you are intimately in an intimate relationship with. So I have some sisters. Yeah, I call them darling and sweetheart, and we baby and dear ourselves all the way. But if you're an acquaintance, it's inappropriate for you to dear and darling them. It's not old school. It's just being well-mannered. And it's what sets you apart. Now, there's some traits that set you apart to enter into leadership roles. Listen, there's some sorts, I was reading a piece of research, I think a few weeks ago, and it says that 85% of the skills that are considered when you're being considered for senior management positions, if you're in the corporate space, are soft skills. 25% are technical skills, 15% are technical skills, 85% are soft skills. If my math is wrong, take the 85%, that's what matters, okay? Now, what are these soft skills? It's things like this: how you show up, how you communicate. Some of us, we type emails, we send the emails out, it's full of grammatical errors, there's no punctuation, there's no capital or small letters. You're communicating. that you're not a patient enough person. You're communicating that you don't take enough attention to detail. And it's okay to make a mistake here and there, but if that's consistently your way of communication, you're communicating, that's how your personal brand is. So they enter into management meetings and they're trying to say, oh, who do we think is competent enough to step up to this level? Like, oh, no, don't consider her. There's just something a bit off about her. Or you enter into meetings, and cultured communication is both knowing when to keep quiet and knowing when to speak. I know we've been told that if you're in a meeting, you must speak, let your voice be heard. We've been told all of those things. And there's a part of that, yes. But if you don't have anything worthwhile to add, please, silence. I think it's, is it from scripture that says a fool who remains silent is thought wise? You know, I think it's, maybe I'm imagining, but I think it's from scripture. Yeah, just keep quiet. Don't talk all the time. If you enter into a room and they're having a conversation, don't just butt in. Wait, it's in Proverbs. Yes, thank you. Look at them, my Bible scholars. Okay. It's in Proverbs, yeah? But if you enter into a room and a conversation is being held, don't just butt into the conversation. Wait for a moment. Let there be a lull before you insert what it is you're saying. If people are sharing their own personal stories, don't feel the need to tell us your own personal stories. I'm sure we've all had conversations with these type of people. Don't you feel a bit tired? Like, she has come again, but she's going to tell us all about her own story. It's her again. Okay, we'll not live here today. Learn to give and learn to take. Communication is a two-way street. Make use of silence. And I don't know if you've noticed, sometimes I'll speak, and then I'll just pause for like 2 seconds and take a breath. It's all part of the art of communication. You make use of silence to pass across your message in a powerful way, especially if you're presenting. If you're a business owner, if you're a corporate, if you just work, if you have a work, actually, even if you're a student, if you stand to present, don't just rattle on. Pause. Some of us are so uncomfortable with silence. We want to fill in the atmosphere. Like, why is there silence? Let's just be talking. Let's just be. Be okay with there be silence. So let there be silence once in a while. Have boundaries about what you share with people that you just met. So we've spoken about email communication. Proofread your emails before you send them out. Okay? Be very, very careful and mindful of that. When you meet people, use salutations when you meet people. Okay? Don't raise your voice. And I know we're Africans, we're naturally loud, right? It's just how we are. We're colorful people. Well, most of us are Africans, not all of us, but most of us are Africans or from African origin. Yeah, so sometimes it seems like we're screaming. We're just there shouting and saying all the things. Okay, amazing. But learn when is the right time to project your voice and when the right time is to lean back a little. If you're on a date, for example, or you're having a conversation with your husband, just drop your voice a couple of tones lower so that they literally lean in to hear what it is that you're saying. It's a tactic. You will thank me later, I'm telling you. Right? So all of this, okay? You'll thank me later. So all of that, right? Your tonation. You want to emphasize a point. And you emphasize what it is you're saying. But you do it in a powerful way, but without necessarily raising your voice. And did you see what I did there? I emphasized what I was saying, but without, I'm not shouting. This is me shouting. Right? I don't have to shout to get my point across. So when you're presenting, stop it. Pause. Sometimes just lower, listen to yourself. And do you know how you become better? Record yourself. When you're speaking, sometimes I just speak. I speak, I love speaking. I mean, speaking is, I speak, I teach. So I used to record myself. I'll listen to myself. And when I talk about cultured communication, I'm not speaking about speaking with an accent. Because, I've heard all sorts of things. And we come out here and we start, I love it, Shakira. Shakira says she knows an executive that exudes what I'm teaching, and she's a sight to behold. So good, right? With the kids, how do you not shout? Catherine, I know. Honestly, I know. And we all, mothers, we have a grace. There are some days we will fall and we'll pick ourselves up again and be like, okay, you know what? Fine, we're getting on here again. But after a while, Catherine, let me tell you, because of how we are wired naturally as human beings, we adapt very quickly to sound. So that's why, for those of you who go to loud parties, or who go to nightclubs, or who go to any of these places, you realize after a while, the music doesn't seem so loud any longer. You know why? Because you've adapted to the sound. So if you're shouting all the time at your kids, it's ineffective after a while because they only hear you at high decibels. Change the game. If it's not working, see if something else would work. So if you're always, once mommy enters the house, mommy, they're just like, they already know when she comes, she'll be shouting, and when she finishes shouting, okay. You use it as well with your kids. With your kids is where you will learn in how you manage your emotional something. Check, I'm telling you, some mothers actually sound like that. But learn to use emotions with your kids because they're human beings. You will lean into your feminine side. Do you know mommy is really hurt right now? You really hurt mom. You betrayed the trust I had in you, unless you have, maybe demon children. And we don't have demon children. I'm saying the truth. Honestly, exactly, Nanya. That's why the daddy will just say, stop it. And immediately there'll be stop. You now be there, been screaming since morning. They don't even answer me in this house. They don't respect me in this house. They don't kill in this house because you are talking too much. You say a thing, and like mommy has said this. Then you call them for a tete-a-tete into your study. I have some friends, they don't want their children to, they don't want their parents to speak to them. They'd rather that, come and, maybe beat me or don't talk. Because you almost feel like doing something when they're done with you. Let that be you. Don't shout all the time. Switch it up for them. When they expect you to shout, don't. Just look, acknowledge what they've done, and don't shout. Don't say anything. Then bring it up at a later time when you're all calm, maybe around the dinner table, and just say, just wanted to announce to the family that today you were really disappointed by your children. How could I? If you have not learned how to use emotions to pass across a point, go and learn it. Remember, there was a time, for those of you who watch Sound of Music, I didn't get it then. I get it now. There was a scene when Maria had just arrived at Captain's house. And for those who don't know Sound of Music, I don't even know what to say, but it's a really old movie. So when Maria had just arrived at Captain's house, the first dinner she was having with them, she comes in and she sits on a pine cone. They put a pine cone on her chair. Yeah. And they, you were thinking about that scene, right? Fantastic. And, Captain was like, what's the problem? And she says, oh, nothing. And he was like, okay, let's eat, stop making noise, let's eat. And they start eating. And then after a while, she starts speaking and she says, I wanted to thank each of you for how warmly you welcomed me into your home. Knowing how I'll be homesick, how worried I'll be about making a good impression. You went out of your way to show me such love and such this. And she said everything that they did not do. And from the littlest child, that one started sniffling and sniffing. And she just did as if nothing. That was like emotional. Deka, you tell me where you watched it because I need it in my life. I've not seen it in years. But that was like emotional, using emotions at the highest. Learn to use that with your kids. Don't be a mom that shouts all the time. A mom that when she enters, they know, okay, mommy will make noise and then the house will be noisy. Don't let that be you. Make use of your emotions. Okay, so that's part of communicating well. How are you? How do you sound? Yeah, the children were all done in. They were all crying. And they started becoming better after that somewhat. I mean, they were still little tyrants, but they got better eventually. Yeah. So learn how to use that skill with your kids. Okay. All right. So we've spoken about that. We've spoken about tonation and how you tone your voice and how you can project without necessarily shouting and how you can bring your voice down so you draw people more into what you're doing, right? And what you're saying in a calmer way. Okay. That's the second thing. Now, I've spoken also about a bit about corporate etiquette and how to handle yourself in the organization. I've spoken about how to dress in your offices. It's not a nightclub. It's not a wherever. You're dressing for work. And I don't know, I'm still team virtual, so I'm loving it. But even as team virtual, I wake up most mornings and I dress. You don't get how to project and not shout. Okay, let me try and tell you something. Marvel, I'm trying to make a point to you so that you understand clearly what it is I am saying in this moment. And I'm saying that you can project your voice without necessarily shouting. Is that clear, Marvel? You can project what it is you're saying, but you don't need to shout. You get it? Fantastic. All right, that always works. Okay. Yeah. I'm calm. You're welcome. Okay, so I was talking about corporate etiquette and how it is that you can, put yourself together. Okay, firmness is not being rude, and I'm going to speak about that. Listen, as a lady, one of the things you should have are your personal standards. Every single one of us, after this call, I want you to take a few minutes and write down what are the things that are your personal standards. And what do I mean by personal standards? What are the things that you will never accept? What are the things? I'm going to come back to that in a second, Sherry. What are the things that you will never accept? What are the ways people can never treat you? So, for example, I used to have a line manager that was quite amazing. Take that any way you want to take it, right? And he used to scream at people, like yell at people. And one day, we were having a bit of a disagreement. And he raised his voice at me. And immediately, I said, no. And I don't use my voice. I'll say, no, you cannot speak to me this way. I'm sorry, no, you cannot speak to me in this way. I've had calls where I say, if you continue in this manner, I'm going to have to get off the phone. I'm sorry, but I can't speak to you in this way. I've done it. I'm not telling you something I've not done. It's not that I'm being rude. I'm adhering to my personal standards. My personal standards means that you cannot disrespect me. I will not allow it. I'm very respectful. I respect everyone, so I will not allow you to disrespect me. No, ma, it won't work out. He realized he was being silly, Esther, and he realized he was being unnecessarily emotional. He took a moment and calmed down. I took a moment and calmed down, and we continued with the conversation. It's not every time you scream. No. Okay? He didn't have a heart attack. No. Because now you also need to understand, I'm very finicky about the types of organizations I work for. So the first thing I check with my organization, I don't just take a job. I'm very finicky about corporate culture. That's the first thing I check. I want to know your corporate culture. You see this thing that we do where bosses scream at line managers and line managers scream at associates and everybody is screaming. I can't work in that kind of way. So company culture is important to me. Yeah, I know. That's why I said I've checked it. It's not today. Right when I started praying for my first job, I was like, let me tell you a story. In 2000, and I'm going to stop telling my stories now because I'm going to wrap up soon. In 2006, I was serving. I did NYSC, which for those who are not Nigerian, in Nigeria, you have a one-year compulsory service that you have to do when you're done with university. So I came back from the UK and I enrolled to do my standard 1 year of service. It's National Youth Service Corps. And I was working with an organization and they had a horrible culture right? It was, I was working mostly with expatriates, a certain type of expatriates. And they would come and they'd yell at the employees and they'd do all of this and all of this type of things, right? And the day I resigned without notice. Because, I sat down one day, I've been ill that year, it was 2008 or something. 2008. I've been ill, I started off the year, I was ill, and so many things happened. And I got back to work and I asked myself, Bodam, what you're earning here, is it enough? Is it commensurate to your peace of mind, to the toxicity that you go through every day, to the erosion of your self-confidence? Because let me tell you what, everything that we do plays on our insides. It's either you know it today or you'll find out in 5 years' time. So you need to be very mindful and guard your space, guard yourself. And I walked in that day and I handed in my resignation. And I said, I'm going to have to leave today. And they said, why? I said, I'm going to have to leave today. I cannot work with who I'm working with. I'm going to need to leave today. And I did. I got another job a few months later. The joys of youth and all of that. I'm not telling anybody to resign, so that you're not sending DM. Don't resign, no. But find how to guard yourself from toxicity, okay? So being firm, guard your space. Yes, ma'am. Be firm about what it is that's important to you. Have those standards. And if you're having standards, you will reciprocate those standards. You will teach people how to communicate with you. Do you know why some people speak to you a certain way? Because they've observed you speaking to other people in a certain way. Do you see? So sometimes we're saying, don't speak to me with disrespect, but we're speaking to other people and we're disrespecting them. We're yelling at other people. We're, shouting and all of that. And then we're saying, okay. So the other people are saying, yeah, they're saying they don't want to be spoken to this way, but they seem to like it because this is how they're speaking this other way. Do you see? So how do we communicate? What do we show? We just teach people how to treat us. All right. So yes, I'm going back to dressing that I was talking about. Okay. Now with dressing, what I was saying is essentially this. How you show up, and we've spoken about this, how you show up, when that phrase, we dress as we wish to be addressed, it's a very real thing. Doors have opened just because of how you look. I'm not saying play on it, but at the same time, it's how the world operates. We're in a very visual world. So show up. Don't show up as the woman you are today. Show up as the woman you want to be in 4 years' time. What office do you want to hold in your next role or your next 2 roles? How will that woman dress? How will that woman talk? How will that woman communicate? How will that woman do her makeup? How will that woman, I don't know, what does she do for fun? Show up that way. What's your company culture like, right? And then what's your own personal standards? What are the personal standards you have for yourself? And what are the personal standards you have for your life? So for example, I will not go to the office wearing, okay, this is an extreme example. Well, maybe it's not extreme, I don't know. But I won't wear like spaghetti straps into my office. It's just not something I would do because of the kind of thing I'm trying to, because of what I'm trying to demonstrate. I would do it. It's a personal thing for me. Okay. On days I have presentations, I dress up more formal. It's a personal standard for me. All right. So all of these type of things, what are your own personal standards about how you want to show up in your organization? Business etiquette, unless your organization is on a first name basis, please, I said it before, put Mr. or Mrs. before you, or Miss, whatever, before you address anyone. Ma'am comes to my mouth very easy. I'm like, yes, ma'am, take it or take it. Yeah, they say, no, I'm not ma'am, and call me Judy or call me Jane. Then I'll size you up and be like, okay, Judy. But if I know that you're 70, I'm not going to be calling you Judy. Again, it's a personal standard. I will look for something else to call you. So have those personal standards that guard you. Listen, I want you to look at yourself as a corporation. Okay? Look at yourself as a corporation. You are Abimbola OK Limited or Incorporated, right? You are Biodun Olaniwo Incorporated. I'm Bodam Taiwo Incorporated. You are a corporation and you are the president and CEO of the organization. You decide every year, how are my shares going to increase? What am I going to do to grow? How am I going to become better at the end of this year than I was at the beginning of the year? You're the one that decides that. And then you make a plan. And your plan involves many things, from what courses are you going to take? What training are you going to go through? Personal development skills, how are you going to learn it? Some of us will say, want to become more patient. Okay, what is your plan to become more patient? What's your plan to love upon yourself a little bit more? It has to be something that's written down. But at the end of every year, at the end of every quarter, you cannot be the same woman that went into it at the beginning of the quarter. And this is how, sometimes men are a bit more intentional about their growth than women can be, because we can be very emotional. And our emotions are great, but let's use it in a positive way. Okay, so that's how we're going to dress. Okay, I'm seeing questions are coming through. How do you strike okay, how do you strike? Okay, I've been told that I sent questions on here so that I can answer. Please send in your questions so that I am not just monologuing. Tell me, ladies, are you still with me? Are you getting value from tonight? Let me know. We're going to wrap up soon. Are you getting value from tonight? Let me know, please. Yes, so much. Okay, I am glad. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic, fantastic. Yay, I'm dancing. I am dancing. Okay, cool. So I am looking for where the questions are. Okay, so how do you do all these things and still be feminine? Okay, so I have a question here. Yeah, powerful, fantastic. Okay, so if you can still, awesome, great. So if you can still have more questions come through, let me take the questions now. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to stop here. Since we had a lot of value, we've spoken today about the importance of femininity, and I spent a lot of time there because I really wanted us to lean into the women that we are and really grow and become, right? I really, really wanted. Some of us got on late. I dare say, hey, you're on your own, no? Then I shared also about, business and corporate etiquette. We spoke about that. I was talking about some of the things about being a true lady. We spoke about cultured communication. We spoke about the aura, and we spoke about how you dress and how you show up, right? We spoke about you having personal standards and being the CEO of your own organization. We spoke a little bit about posture. We spoke about marriage and dating and relationship tips. And I really hope that's going to help you. Can I have the charger for this, please? It's about to go off. I'm really going to help you to grow and to become and to enjoy better and more fulfilling relationships. Yeah, it's over there. Okay, so I'm going to answer a couple of questions that I've received now, and then we can start to close tonight. I have one announcement. We'll take our pictures and we'll start to close off tonight. Buffet standard, isn't it? Okay. So someone says, Lady B, how can we do all these things and still be feminine? Can we talk with a loud voice? Can we walk briskly and still be feminine? Now, remember the very first thing I said is that femininity starts from the inside and gradually it flows out. Okay, so my question to you is, what is on your inside? No, what's on your inside, right? Are you, who is the woman? What are you telling yourself inside? Who's the woman that you're becoming? What are you saying? How are you showing up? What energy are you channeling, right? As a lady. These are the things to start asking and to start questioning and to start getting to know. So when we say become more feminine, it all begins, the shouting is your challenge, go there. It all begins from the interior of you. Remember, we said connect to the woman that's on the inside. Learn to receive first. Learn to pamper yourself a little bit. Reevaluate your relationships a little bit more. And if you put those things into place, gradually you discover that your brisk tone may not be so brisk any longer. or you will learn how to switch between a brisk and a not so brisk tone. You go back and forth, right? And you have all of these sorts of things sort of coming up. But yes, the answer is, can you walk fast and still be feminine? Very much so. Can you walk fast and not have a soft, soothing voice? Very much so. Okay, so I hope that helps you. Someone says, in doing something like not always being available as a woman being pursued, how do you make sure it doesn't look like you're playing games and just making them chase you more? This is such a powerful question. Thank you to who asked this, okay? So someone says, if you're a woman, how do you make sure that you're not acting as if you're playing games? You're not acting as if you're just pretending and all this, hard to get and all of those type of things. How do you make sure? Now, my answer to you is simply, do you have a life? Before the man came into your life, what were you doing? Before he came into your life, how were you showing up? What were you doing with your evenings before the man came into your life? But I'm so sorry, ladies, this is still not charging. So if this goes off, don't worry, I'm on this computer, on this screen, so I will just be looking here. Oh, yay, there we go. I think we're back. Cool. So yeah, what were you doing with your life before the guy came into the picture? You are just simply living your life. People shouldn't have access to you all the time. And I'm not just speaking about dating relationships now. I'm speaking about every type of relationship. People that just message you and your phone is perpetually on, they can reach you at 8 a.m., they can reach you at 10 p.m., they can reach you at midnight, your WhatsApp is always buzzing, you have no quiet time to even evaluate and hear your own thoughts. That's not a way to live. So you're not playing games, you're just living your life. If somebody wants more of your time, they need to make more of a commitment to you. And I'm not entering relationship conversations this evening, these women that are dragging me, right? But that's true. If someone wants more of your time, they need to make more of a commitment to you. Someone says, how do you strike a balance between knowing when it's toxic and you should leave and knowing when it's a place that pushes you to grow? My response to that is, what is really on the inside of you? Now, there is a creative stretch, and we should all have that at some point in our lives. And that is when you're stretching, but you're not quite breaking. You're learning positive things, right? You know that, okay, there's a lot of correction here, but it's because me too, I'm not so excellent. Let me, change here. Let me grow in this area. If I do this, then this is going to become better. You should recognize that. When something is toxic is when in season, out of season, the environment is just toxic. When you enter into an office and you have a cold, a hard knot in the middle of your tummy, your blood pressure is going up by the day. You wake up, you think of Monday, you're filled with dread because of who it is you're going to meet in the organization. Then you now should begin to question that, is this environment really okay? Mentally, how are you dealing with it? And I'll give you an example. I talked to the boss. I thought it was toxic, but it was not. And you know why? I'll tell you why. I thought, okay, you know what, Bodam, maybe if you just, let me not tell you what I was saying, let me just pray this woman out of my life, because I don't even get how this woman can be so like this and so like that and so like this and like that. And then, I had to go into the hospital and I was off work for a while. And while I was there, I had an epiphany. And my epiphany was like, do things her way and let's see. That was just it. It wasn't like a grand thing. Just do things her way and let's see. And I came back to the office after 2 or 3 weeks off. And I said, I'm going to do things her way. I'm not going to give this woman reason to complain. Did it stretch me? Yes. Some days I will be up until midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., doing random different slides, analyzing numbers, doing all sorts of stuff. Some days I'll sleep at 2, wake up at 4, because I'll be giving her update call at 6 because she's entering a meeting at 7. It was insane. I did that for 4 months. But I tell you what, when I was leaving that department, right, there was the thing of, you're taking away my best staff. Till tomorrow, we're still friends. We still connect, we still meet. So I recognized that there was a teaching opportunity there. And I recognize, and you know, let me tell you something, ladies, you need to have the capacity to be honest with yourself. We all need it. Be very honest with yourself. So ask yourself, am I being my most excellent self in this role? Am I showing up as my most excellent self? Am I doing everything as I can most excellently? If you cannot answer a resounding yes to that question, then that means there's room for improvement. And I hope that helps you. Someone says dressing as your future self really not amounts to being who we are not. I get what you're asking, and there's a yes and a no. Now, the yes and the no I'm saying is, you're communicating to the world the woman that you want to be recognized as. And it's a thing of dressing, yes? So, for example, let's say I want to become the president of Nigeria, okay? I know that the president of Nigeria is not going to show up wearing, he's not going to show up maybe to a social function or whatever, wearing, I don't know, but maybe not maybe like with jeans, maybe bomb shorts and like a crop top. Yeah, the president of Nigeria doesn't show up that way. So Bodam is not going to show up that way. Okay? Because when I step into the role as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I do not want you to be able to bring out a 2021 picture of me in crop top and whatever. If you bring out a teenage picture of me, that's okay. I was a teenager, I was foolish. But you know, when you're growing into your older years, you need to ask, what do I want to be known for? And someone was saying, how do you rebrand yourself? Those are some of the things you do to rebrand yourself. And remember, when you're rebranding yourself, it doesn't happen overnight. It took you 18 years, 20 years, 30 years, 35 years to be where it is that you are. You can't expect a change overnight. Remember, you have to show consistency. So what do you want to rebrand yourself, or how do you want to be known as? Who do you want to be known as? It's in the little things. And you can even say, sometimes I say, some people tell me, before, you say, when you come to the office, you're like this, I'm like, yes, I'm dressing the way I want to be recognized. I'm dressing for my next 2 roles. I'm saying it boldly. Sometimes I have interviews, they say, what do you want? I say, I actually want your job, but I know I can't, you're still sitting on the seat. So maybe when you're going, we can have the conversation. We have those things, okay? So that's how you brand in little ways. And I'm answering 2 questions in one now deliberately, but you brand in little ways. The way you talk, you begin slowly to change how it is you speak. The way you show up on Instagram. When I spoke about cultured communication, I'm going to say something about Instagram communication. You see, I see some of us on Instagram and some of the comments that we write on some other people's posts, some of the comments that some of the posts that we're even commenting on. There's some of the things that we're even saying. Then how we, quote and unquote, I'm going to use this phrase. I don't use it, but I'm going to use it. How we drag people on Instagram. You took my this, you didn't take my this. Just causing an absolute mess. Cultured communication, darlings. And I called you guys darlings because you are dear to me. You really are. But yes, cultured communication is that you show up consistently at every touch point. Everywhere people encounter you, they encounter you. So you're not a different person on social media than you are in real life. You don't send different emails than you send text messages. You're a unified person. So everything should be you, okay? Someone says, please, can you explain to me more on using emotions on people instead of shouting? Now, everybody is a human person. Remember when I said that one of the ways of being feminine is by leaning into your emotions and feeling your emotions. So why do you shout at your kids, for example? Maybe it's that they disappointed you. So feel that emotion of disappointment and communicate. Remember I said you have a responsibility to communicate how you're feeling with compassion and love. So you're communicating the emotion that you're feeling, right? How is it, why maybe you're shouting because you're angry, or you're shouting because you feel betrayed, or you feel disappointed. Communicate those feelings. And that's what I mean by using emotions. So not every time screaming. Sometimes if your kids are old enough, I know you can't talk to I have a niece that's 18 months. I can't be telling her all these things of, auntie feels really, she's just gonna be like, yeah, and that's the end of that, right? But that's it. But if they're older kids, they have a bit of reasoning, they have a bit of understanding, please try and dialogue. And you know what happens when you dialogue with children? You're teaching them also how to communicate their emotions in a way that is healthy and that's responsible. It's something that's taught. And a lot of the time you model it to them. So that's why we have some people who they can't communicate when they're upset. They shout, they break things because it was never modeled to them how to communicate when you're upset. So you have a duty and a responsibility if you have children to help them to process their emotions in a way that is positive, okay? I'm gonna take final question. Okay, final 2 questions and that's it. Final 2 questions and that's it. This question says, okay, this question says, how can I rebrand myself or navigate from my old self? How can I rebrand myself or navigate from my old self? Oh my gosh, where's the question gone? Okay. Oh, I've answered this one, haven't I? Yes, I have. Okay. One of the challenges is dealing with people saying you've changed or you've not been yourself, or how do you navigate around initiating the change? You have changed. Yes, I have. That's it. You all don't want any explanation for how you are. And I say this, you know we're women. So we want to explain, want to tell everybody, want to take them all through the journey of our lives. No, you don't owe them an explanation. Am I the woman I was 3 years ago? No. Am I the woman I was last year? No. Am I the woman I was 6 months ago? No. Did some people understand initially? No. But I'm not going to hold my own evolution back because you don't get it right now. You'll get it eventually. You'll catch up. So how do you navigate it? By remaining consistent to the path that you set for yourself. Remain consistent on that journey. Go wholeheartedly. Keep at it. Have your gaze fixed upon the goal that you want and be consistent. To those who are close to you, you can say, yes, I'm going through an evolution. I'm becoming me. That's who it is. You're becoming you. Now, someone says, would you say social media is absolutely necessary when rebranding oneself? Yes and no. Absolutely necessary, no. Very few things are absolutely necessary. However, it depends on who you are and what you do normally, okay? If you had a branding on social media before, then yes, social media is necessary to rebrand after. Okay, if you didn't have a brand on social media before, then there's nothing to rebrand after. People are just meeting you for the first time. All right, so it depends on who you are and where you are. If you don't have any social media presence and it's only from people meeting you, then it's those people that are meeting you physically that you're rebranding yourself to. So it's not absolutely necessary. But if you were, swinging from chandeliers and I don't know, doing all sorts of funky stuff on social media, then you're also rebranding yourself on that platform. Have you noticed? If you look at some stars that have been signed on to new record labels, even some Nigerian musicians that have been signed on to new record labels, right? Have you noticed just before they sign up, they do a social media clean? Go and check it. There's someone that's in my mind, I just don't want to mention her name, but I'll give you a clue. She's a she. They do a complete social, they clean all the images of them on their social media pages and they start afresh. They don't make apologies to anybody for it. They're just becoming a different version of themselves. Final question. How important is wearing makeup in being feminine, artificial nails inclusive? I would personally say this is a personal thing. Now, do you want to look well put together? Yes. And the things I typically say are these. Now, if your nails are short, yeah, let them all be short. If your nails are long, let them all be typically the same length, okay? If your nails are painted, let them all be painted. If your nails are not painted, let them all not be painted. What is important is to show that you've taken some time to put yourself together. What is important is to show that you respect the other person enough to take a few moments to make sure that you look properly put together. So don't show up for a meeting with an oily face. I don't care if you don't use brown powder. Your face should not be oily. It just shouldn't. You're a lady. So don't show up that way. If your thing is white powder, do white powder. Don't show up for a meeting with cracked lips. I don't care if you are makeup conscious or not makeup conscious. These are fundamental things about grooming. Don't have cracked lips. Just rub Vaseline. Don't be funky. Vaseline will cure it. Finish. right? Those little things are what matters. Okay? Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Terry. I do apologize. I would, okay, I think the chats are being saved, are they? Okay, the chats are being saved. So I will get back to you, Terry. I'll get back to you. I do apologize about that, right? Okay, fantastic. Yeah, so all of these things together are how you put them, how you come across. It's not by force to wear makeup. It's not by force to do your nails. It is mandatory that you are well put together as a lady and as a woman. Okay? All right, so I'm going to stop the questions here because I promised I was going to take just 2 hours of your time, and we are around about that. I talked about creating. How do you feel? Oh, let me speak about that. So this is the final one because I'm beginning to get glares from admin. She's like, ma'am, your time is up. So really, I need to get out of here before she really has me, right? But someone has said something here that how do you deal with discouragement when you're creating and it feels like nobody's reading your write-ups? You're not creating for external. You're creating for you. You're creating for you. I write a lot of stuff. I write on LinkedIn. I have a blog that I meant to post up this week. It's there. I write many places. I write for magazines. I write everywhere. But I'm writing because I want to pass out a message to the world. That's why I write. I write because I want to spread this world in positivity. I write because I have a message that I want to share with as many people as possible. If one person reads it, okay. And sometimes I send out some emails and it's only one person that responds, but the response warms my heart. And I go and say, you know what, even if it's just for this one person, be so confident in yourself and in what it is that you have that you don't really need external validation. External validation is great. Having all 100 and at the point where 180 something or something like that in this room, I mean, so beautiful. It's amazing. I'm really glad. But it doesn't change the fabric of who I am. And that's why we started speaking at the very beginning as to who it is that you are. You, as you are worth something. And don't worry, consistency wins. Keep on writing. A time will come when your work will speak for